Good morning, this is Deborah Matthews, Vicar of Verwood. The Chelsea Flower Show, usually in spring, took place last week at the beginning of autumn. I watched some of it on TV, hoping to get a few tips. I always think that there is a certain sadness associated with autumn, as the natural world begins to go to sleep for the winter. But the colours of the season, as the autumn flowers give their last glorious hurrah, are the brightest of all, as they herald the end of the summer. John Keats addresses autumn in his famous poem as the season of mists and mellow fruitfulness, close bosom friend of the maturing sun, conspiring with him how to load and bless. Highlighting the connection between autumn and the sun, Keats describes how they both come to maturity at the end of the summer. This year, for the first time, I have planted dahlias, and I'm really enjoying seeing their deep blast of colour beneath the tree turning a vibrant red. Last week at dusk, a few of us were stood outside of St Michael's Church at the end of our Together at 6 service, and we watched and listened to a huge number of geese fly over us. I'm sure you will have seen them yourselves during the last few weeks, leaving us behind to fly off to warmer climes. And we all agreed that there is a feeling of sadness as we watched them go. In Sonnet 73, Shakespeare uses this time of year to describe his faded youth. That time of year thou mayest in me behold, when yellow leaves or none or few do hang upon those boughs which shake against the cold, bear ruined choirs where late the sweet birds sang. But the astonishing colours of early autumn do bring us some consolation. The little beauty that brightens up the end of September is the Michaelmas daisy. The little purple daisy is associated with the Archangel Michael because it stands out against the creeping darkness of the shorter days of autumn and winter. This week in church we are celebrating Michaelmas, our patronal festival. And unlike other saints who have lived a human life, Michael is an angel. All we know about him comes from the book of Revelation. Just as in visions and dreams, this final book of the Bible is full of strange, mystical-looking creatures and tales of destruction leading up to the end time. The book speaks of the conflict between the forces of good and of evil, and this is where the Archangel Michael comes into his own. Michael is the angel who fights on God's side. He is depicted in art and iconography as a great warrior saint who sent Satan out of heaven down to the earth. Angels appear in many guises. We know about angels because the Bible is full of them. They bring messages to humans at special times and help them to hear God speaking to them, calling them to their own vocations and giving them courage and clarity of their mission. Sometimes angels are not distinguishable from human beings, and there's a passage in the Bible which reminds us to be hospitable to everyone because we could be entertaining angels unawares. Most of us have an opinion on these heavenly beings, and these range from experiencing them and believing in angels as messengers from God to disbelief in all things that can't be explained. But Jesus believed in angels. These messengers of God visited his mother and heralded his birth and resurrection and ascension. They supported the early church, comforting them and freeing them from their fears and encouraging their mission and persuading them into action. And in this final visionary book of the Bible, we hear angels proclaiming God's message of salvation. On the earth, we continue to face the choice between good and evil, and God's messengers can help us to make the right choices and to make sense of our lives. I will leave you with a sentence from Shakespeare's play Hamlet. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamt of in our philosophy. So may St. Michael and all the angels surround and protect you in this life and the next. God bless you and have a good week.